And what's up, guys?
That's amazing.
Oh, what's up, guys? Welcome to the weekly poll. It's like, oh, damn, it's 6 o'clock on the dot. I didn't even realize it was 6 p.m. on. See, guys, this is what happens.
It's like you planned it
with me. I planned it. I planned it this way the entire time. Okay, so as you guys will notice, Benny's not here. Benny's moving or something like that, and his computer's not set up. I don't know. He talked about it on Twitter or something like that. Anyway, you have myself, and you have Sal, and you have Joel, and you have Tiffany, and we are here to talk about geek culture stuff. And we're also going to talk about it's 6 o'clock my time. All right, like it says 6 p.m. on my computer, unless you're saying that like the internet's wrong about the time.
It's like 6 o'clock for like 3/4 of this cast.
Well, mine says 6:01 now.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, Joel doesn't count because he's in another time zone. So, like,
he's in our same zone.
Yeah.
Oh, is he? Oh, then it's 6 o'clock for everybody.
I'm only sometimes in a different time zone. A couple times from Victoria.
Yes, we are all synced.
Right.
I bet they're all using Android devices probably, which is why I don't use Android devices, because the time is always wrong.
No,
it's true.
Wrong.
Hush.
Anyway. We all go to our Android devices. No, man, I'm pretty sure it's got the
it's doing fine. But what are we talking about today?
Man, we are talking about Wonder Woman for one, which is going to be like the big talking point. We've got a couple smaller things to talk about here and there, but really it's kind of like Wonder Woman, which is the big draw, I think. Joel, you're the topic guy. So what are the topics?
Give it up.
Well, the first thing we got to talk about here is that New Mutants movie is apparently chugging along a lot faster than I thought it was. They've cast basically the whole team so far. We got Wolfsbane, who's going to be Chloe Grace Moretz. We also got a Danny Moonstar, a Sunspot, played by a bunch of actors I've never heard of because they're all young people actors, and I don't watch the shows that these people are on. But hey, it's happening.
But Hit Girl's going to be a werewolf, so that sounds cool to me.
Works for me. All about that. They also say this New Mutants movie is going to be a horror movie. They say that's the genre they're going with.
Yeah.
I don't know about it being a horror movie, but I will say Blockbuster 617 just subbed for 6 months in a row.
Uh-oh.
Oh, yeah.
Blockbuster.
Here it comes.
Here it comes, man.
No.
I'm feeling a Blockbuster. Splooge. That sensual splooge.
Oh,
very slow.
Oh,
the more literal you get with the splooges, the more horrible it gets.
ICP.
Oh.
ICP.
Do you now?
Splooge.
Yay.
Yes, it sounds like whatever, man. Just shut up and just do the splooge.
We got these two splooges. No, I actually kind of like the build-up nowadays. I'm kind of
the whole
part of the thing. Yeah, it's fun.
The only thing we're missing is a literal drum roll to accompany each one.
I do not know how I feel about New Mutants being a horror show or horror movie.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's a weird idea. Like, everyone's like, this is cool. I like horror, and I like mutants, and I like comics. It sounds great. Then you think about it for a minute, you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Nah, I'm on board.
It's going to be a werewolf movie with, like, Wolfsbane.
I'm in.
Okay.
I guess they've had some luck experimenting with genres, like Deadpool was a romantic comedy and Logan was like a post-apocalyptic western. They said X-Men Apocalypse was supposed to be a disaster movie, but I think it was just a disaster, so whatever.
It was just, they forgot the movie part.
Yeah, they went too far. See, that's the thing when you say, oh, our movie's going to be a disaster movie, our movie's going to be a horror movie, you're already queuing up cynical internet D-bags like myself.
Yeah.
Jokes.
Oh, a disaster. Mm-hmm.
Oh, the return of Captain Werewolf. Oh, we need that. The return of Captain Werewolf. Make Sam Wilson a werewolf again.
Hashtag make Sam Wilson a werewolf again.
Yeah. No, Nick Spencer made him a werewolf. Like in All of Marvel, in the first story.
It was a really good arc, actually.
It was a great idea.
It was like the Serpent Society, and they're like, yes, we're making people into wolves and other animals.
Serpent Society as corporate raiders. I love that idea, where it's like, oh, yeah, we've taken what we've learned from the supervillain line of work, and we're bringing that to the boardroom now.
Yeah. Oh, it was actually kind of smart, to be honest.
It was.
Pretty interesting.
Cool idea.
But,
the only time I was ever actually intimidated by the Serpent Society.
Yeah. Oh, that was the funniest thing. Like when they were doing the announcements for the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and they were like, "And the next Captain America movie is Serpent Society," and I was like, "What?
Yeah.
Is this like Feige's like, hey, I really want to see this obscure thing. Like, did he push this? Because like, in what universe would anybody want to see a Serpent Society movie?
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
I don't want to live in that universe.
Yeah, I don't. I
We
wouldn't
really
live in that
want some
universe
actors dressed in snake costumes, is what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
that'd be hilarious, actually.
They won't have snake. They'll still have snake tattoos. You know, it'll be stupid.
I mean, I think it'd be funny if they were running around in like costume shop snake costumes. You know?
Yeah.
like those T-Rex costumes.
No.
And like
My
they're
God.
just
Just
running up on
tripping
people.
and flailing.
Yeah, that'd
Yes.
be hilarious.
They're great.
Just yelling, I'm a snake, I'm a snake, I'm a slithery
snake.
snake.
I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a snake. I'm a snake. Did you guys ever see that from what's her name, Dora the Explorer?
No.
No.
Oh,
I'm a little outside the demo.
I'm kind of unfamiliar with that particular song from Dora. I know I'm the map.
Swiping a swiping.
wow.
The opening song.
Oh man,
But I don't know the snake song.
the snake song is pretty amazing.
Maybe it's from Diego. And you got your franchises crossed.
Oh, of course.
Anyway, so yeah, so back on what were we talking about before?
New Mutants
New
are horror
Mutants.
movies.
New Mutants being a horror movie.
It's
All right.
happening.
Yeah, this is how much we care about New Mutants. We have somehow made
Hey,
our way to
exactly.
Dora the Explorer.
Hey,
So-
I like horror movies. I like when they mix genres. I loved the fact that Shaun of the Dead was a zombie movie, but it was really a romance film. So like, I'm open-minded with this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll see it.
Because what's the worst that's going to happen? It's going to be another horrible sci-fi level, like horror movie.
Sounds
Oh, damn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we just need like Len Wiseman to make it and have like what's her name show up, his wife.
wow.
The Underworld movies, whatever.
Oh.
Oh, I know what you meant. Yeah.
Kate
Like-
Beckinsale?
Cade Beckinsale.
That's the one.
Yeah,
I
it
don't
could
know.
be blue. X-Men
And it'll be blue.
hmm It'll be
I mean, I
X-Men
do-
Underworld, and they'll be fighting the Lycans.
I would
Yes.
see that movie
And-
sooner than a New Mutants movie. That's all.
Wait, that works because then Jubilee could be a vampire. See if this works.
Ooh.
Yeah.
This is coming together. This is
And
cool.
what's his name? We could resurrect the Kevin Grievous Lycan characters.
Yes.
It'd be like,
Yes,
oh
please.
no.
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Like 2000 is calling. They want their like small era in time of movies back.
Yeah.
It was a small era, wasn't
It
it?
was, but it was an amazing era. It was like the Matrix and Underworld. We're like, dude, that was the craziest thing. The Matrix comes out and like everybody in the world thinks they're Morpheus, like we're living in a Matrix. It's like, no, we're not living in a Matrix, and you're not Morpheus. You're just a crazy
But all
guy
you
who's
needed was
very
a leather
lonely.
trench coat.
Yeah.
Was all you needed.
Yep,
I got my
and those
trench coat, I got my
sunglasses.
leather pants, and I got my blue filter. I'm down.
That's it, man. That is it. Like I remember
You got
what was it?
Underworld.
I remember like
What's it called?
what was it, episode 3 or maybe it was episode 2, whichever one. One of them came out, and then like all you saw were just like lightsaber duels on YouTube. Like it was crazy.
Episode 1. It was just the Darth Maul duel. Everyone's like, oh shit.
It was crazy.
I do appreciate, if nothing else, this New Mutants thing actually does look to be putting the focus on the actual kids and on the characters again.
Yeah.
And maybe this isn't going to be one of those situations where it's like, oh, well, who's going to steal focus this time? Is it going to be Magneto? Is it going to be Professor X? Who's the Wolverine? Who's the movie really going to be about? This actually looks to be a team that they're building.
Wolfsbane.
Well, because she's the biggest actress. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll be honest. Like, I think they kind of screwed the pooch with this movie. Not because of the cast. I mean, I could do with the cast, but I think they screwed it up because they should have just gone from Logan into New Mutants.
Right,
Like,
those
I think
kids.
Yeah, that would have just been the perfect. It was a perfect setup just to go into New Mutants.
Okay, well maybe they are. Look, they're in the woods. You know, they make a wrong
scary.
turn. They meet an old man. He warns
Don't
them
go
not
down
to
that
go up
road.
to Old Man Jenkins' cabin. They're like, nah, I'm going up there anyway. And then werewolves. See, it could work.
Is it secret? Is it safe?
Nice.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it'll be interesting. Either way, I mean, it'll be worth a
Yeah.
watch. I mean, we'll watch it just because it's what we kind of have to do. But
Maybe, all right, so maybe Wolfsbane will be in it, but instead they will be fighting like Wendigo. So it'll be like pseudo werewolf on werewolf
Wendigo
action.
being a horror movie with Wendigo in it sounds freaking awesome.
Right?
But only if it stars Wolverine.
Mm,
Well, look,
No,
I'm
but
just
or the
if it's
Incredible
the
Hulk.
kids. It's cool.
that too.
Well,
trying to make it work, okay?
No, I think the kids like being stalked by like a beast of Canadian myth
Yeah,
like
but turns out
created
it's
by
a mutant at the end
cannibalism.
of the day. Like at the end of the day, they're like, oh, it was a mutant. Like,
Yeah.
but like still, that was scary because he's still a scary monster
Still,
man.
that was scary.
Oh, Wendigo, like a
like-
Canadian Bigfoot. Like you
Yeah,
meet
exactly.
Wendigo, and it's just like, can I invite you to some tea or something? Would you like something to drink as you come into my home before I feast
There's
on
some
you?
new maple
I wanted
cookies
to
we
come."
got taken out of the oven. You can have some ketchup chips.
Ketchup.
I was gonna make
What are ketchup
espresso.
chips?
Oh
They're-
man, dude! In October, I need to bring you some ketchup chips if
You
you've
can
never
get
had
them here in the
ketchup
States.
chips.
They're
You,
gross.
you can get them here.
Are they just
every
French
once in a
fries?
while.
It sounds like French fries with ketchup. That's what it sounds
No,
like.
no, no. They are potato chips flavored with ketchup.
Yeah, no, Rob,
Rob-
imagine if they were French fries, but they were cold and hard.
Rob, I gotta say, they do not taste like ketchup and potatoes.
Huh.
And they
Mm,
taste
I like them.
They
I will
def-
bring you some.
Not
That will
good.
be my gift.
Well,
I brought
there
you all
is-
syrup one time.
down in Disney World. I actually took my sister and my stepmom over there. It's that pontoon place. Like, you know what I'm talking about, Joel, where they have that pontoon, like the fries and the cheese curds. Dude,
Poutine?
it was
Yes.
poutine. That's what it is.
Yes.
Anyway,
So good.
yeah, no, I didn't think it was good. It was hot though, so I was like, man, this was not a very good idea, and I did not eat the rest.
That'll
of
do it. It's definitely a hearty winter food. It's not a fun summer food most of the time.
No, poutine
That is
is
true.
is heavenly. It's like ambrosia for me, but I would not have it in Florida heat.
Yeah,
Mm.
it was bad. Poutine.
No.
Yeah. Pontoon.
Next topic.
Next.
All right. All right. So
Are you gonna throw this
Supergirl's-
one away and then demand that we bring you another?
Another.
That's fair. That's
I
fine.
do not like this. Do not bring me another.
Yes. No more New Mutants again.
So, hey,
Um,
Supergirl season 3 cast its bad guy. They're going to be doing the World Killer storyline. Cool, cool. Let's move on to the next one then.
Yep.
I'm throwing this one away. I have nothing to say on
Wow.
this.
Joel will cling on to subjects like nobody's business. He's just going to toss it. Well,
I mean, has anyone been watching Supergirl? I haven't been. Although people
Nope.
said the last season was pretty good. So maybe I
have-
should go back.
well,
It's on Netflix.
season 2 was pretty good. I have not caught up with the current one though. I'm kind of burned out on superhero shows to be honest, just because the Flash just kept going round and round and round. And like,
Yeah,
will they,
yeah, I
won't
was
they,
really
will she
disappointed.
survive? And the ending was kind of cool, but aside from it was like getting there that just took so
Yeah,
long. It's just
it's
Barry
pretty cheap.
shaking his head all the time and like it was just
Yeah, I hate that
sad
he became
and-
a bummer this season. Like literally, as soon as they did the changeover from Dr. Alchemy to Savitar, I think that show went on a heck of a decline.
yeah,
I can't
it's
believe they didn't
rough.
do a full season of Flashpoint.
I know,
Yeah.
right?
That's what disappointed me. Flashpoint was such a great story. They condensed it down to almost nothing, and then they just kind of wrote out Eobard Thawne and threw him on like what was that show? Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends.
Yeah. And I was like,
That's
man.
good.
Which he arguably turned into the best villain that show had ever had, and he did something quite smart in the end. Where it's like, yeah, I went back and I picked up a bunch of different time displaced versions of myself, so you have to fight like 50 of me. And I'm like, why didn't you do that when you fought the Flash?
Well,
We didn't have
no,
that
that's
idea yet.
that's kind of the problem though, is because Legends of Tomorrow I don't think is that well watched and really that popular. So
No,
you know,
not.
while it may have some great moments, it's like it's the show where characters go to die. And
It's
it's
the
just
redheaded
like-
stepchild of the Arrowverse.
They sent him
Was
off to the
Constantine on that
cornfields. Do what?
Did they put Constantine on that one yet?
No, they didn't. They teased they would, but they never did.
I remember
Yeah.
hearing rumors about it and then it never happened, but I was like, yeah, Constantine being on that show is like, well, we like the character and people seem to like it, and maybe it could boost ratings for a few minutes, but didn't even bother to do that.
Well, I mean, but
Ah.
it seems like a threat though. It's like, hey, do you guys like Constantine? It's like, yeah, well, you better start watching him. We're gonna put him on Legends of Tomorrow. And you know what happens when you get put on Legends of Tomorrow?
Like, damn it, but I don't want to watch that.
That sounds like a punishment. Like that's what's
It
gonna
does.
happen to Joel. Like,
It's-
hey,
Yeah.
Joel, if you don't get better news topics, we're gonna put you on Legends of Tomorrow,
We're gonna
man.
put you on
Oh,
Legends of Tomorrow,
no.
man. You know what
Yeah.
happens when you get put on Legends of Tomorrow? You're on your way out. All right, that's
It's
the
true,
last
they'll-
stop.
You'll send me off to Vancouver where we'll film in the same forest set over and over again.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I don't know.
Film it from different angles.
Agents. I mean, since we're talking about this, Agents of Shield was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be this season. It
Best
was,
season
Yeah, it
they've done
was.
this
I
season.
loved it.
It was incredible. I'm really
was
curious
really
to see
good.
what happens next because there's so many possibilities they can go with. Like the whole idea of like the AI and all that kind of stuff. Life model decoys are like a legit possibility now. Plus, Ghost Rider's back, so I'm really
Yeah.
excited about that.
Well, he's
Yeah.
back, but he's not.
Yeah.
And,
Was it-
and
it was-
space, though. They've opened up space in a huge way now.
No
Yeah, they open up
question.
Space Witch. I'm hoping for Sword, and then we get Abigail Brand.
Oh, that would be that'd be the perfect place to put her, to be honest.
Yeah.
Right?
Just yeah, because right now, like as long as Coulson's running around to Earth, like somewhere along the line, Captain America's going to be like, so hey, let's talk about like Shield, and like that
How I
Coulson
ch-
guy who was standing next to the director on the public news.
Yeah.
Let's address the fact that he's supposed to be dead. Like, if they just stick him out in space somewhere, then nobody's going to ask any questions.
Yeah.
My only
Also,
issue is
like-
that I'm not playing her. So what the hell?
Aw.
Oh,
I don't think they've cast her yet, so we can still campaign.
Yeah,
Okay.
Tiffany for Brand.
Tiffany for Abigail Brand. Actually, the funny thing is, I just recorded Astonishing X-Men, so I just got I'm just like, and this is the first time you meet Abigail Brand, and she's like a total jerk.
She's a total jerk and a furry.
Yeah, she is.
Because she
Yeah.
totally wants to bang beasts.
Well, but he's still a guy.
Yeah, she's got that weird tongue thing too. It's weird.
Oh yeah,
She
that's
does.
right.
Speaks every
She's an
language
ape.
in existence. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. I want that.
There
As a
is.
person who cannot do that.
God, what was it? Somebody. I don't remember if it was you guys or somebody, but they were telling me that the reason why they brought Ghost Rider back at the end of the season was because they didn't have any money left to spend on his character. They had to wait until the very end just because the special effects were so expensive. And I was like, that sounds like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
That sounds exactly like that show.
Sounds like television in general these days.
Oh man, like what happened?
By the way,
to
I'm
all the
also
money?
interested to find out what Coulson's secret is, the one that the Ghost Rider now knows about
Yeah.
Yeah.
being inside of him. I was like, okay, which way
I don't
where you
care.
going?
I don't care about dark secrets anymore, but I do want to see like aliens and Skrulls and maybe like a Chitauri character. Like, just make Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. into Star Trek. And
Sure.
Well, maybe that's what the Inhumans show is going to be. I figure is the
I
reason
don't-
he's in space. Are they trying to tie this into the Inhumans show? And that
well, I
becomes
won't be
a thing?
watching that. So I have no idea what that show's going to be about.
But maybe you'll
Oh.
have to when they inevitably
There
do
goes
a
a rocket
crossover.
ship. A rocket ship just left Earth. It's like, who was on it? It's like, they're a group called the Inhumans. Like, well, why'd they leave? Because no one cares about them.
Yeah, we're going to put them on the
Kicked them off.
moon and leave them there.
They packed up their toys and they went home.
Oh, they said,
Basically.
well, no one cares. We're here. We're just going to leave again.
Yeah.
Oh, man. With their dog that teleports with super terrible special effects and everything. But,
Well, we're going to have our own show on our own planet with black bolts and hookers.
Feel
hold
free.
on. Is season 5's the last season? I know they renewed it
No,
for
it's
season 5. Is that the final
It's
season?
just renewed. There's
Everyone keeps saying it's the final season, but no one knows anything.
Nobody knows.
Yeah.
If the ratings tripled, I guarantee they get another season.
Well,
People
we've been
keep saying this show
renewed.
is going to be canceled since season 1, and it keeps not getting canceled.
Yeah, everyone keeps telling me how much Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. sucks and how no one watches it, yet it always gets renewed and I always enjoy every season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
So,
what they
whatever.
mean to say is they don't enjoy it and they don't watch it. That's
Yeah.
what
Yes.
they mean to say.
Well, okay, that's weird.
Mhm.
They should say that then.
Well, it's much easier to say everyone because then it makes it sound like it matters. But
Right.
But if people actually said that, Sal, then you would just stop listening to them.
someone gets stabbed by a hooker. What? Camber guy's like, and someone gets stabbed by a hooker.
Yeah. Like Batman.
Yeah.
Oh man. Shield is a little engine they could. Okay, so what's our next topic?
Yeah, what we got?
Hey, so here's one for it. Remember the Sin City movies? The first one was pretty good. The second one was pretty unnecessary. Well, now they're developing it for TV. Way to strike while the iron is ice cold.
Okay, what channel?
It's the dude who
Sci-fi.
he was the second showrunner for The Walking Dead, is developing it for TV, so I guess any place that he's worked with.
Ooh.
Right. So like not like HBO or Showtime or somewhere where they could actually do what they needed to do with a Sin City book.
Right.
It's
Or
very
even, like,
early.
Yeah.
Or even like the El Rey network where Robert Rodriguez owns it and it could be actually like connected
Yeah,
to what he
wow.
did.
Dude, I
Yeah,
feel
shit.
like that should be like a
Cool.
Netflix original series. See, if they came out and they
Yeah.
said like Netflix is launching a series on Sin City, then I would be like, yes, like I am so down with that. But
Yeah.
like, it's not, and so I'm like, okay, whatever.
My problem is it's like, but you already did the big ones that everyone knows and remembers on a movie budget. You mean to tell me you're probably going to show those to me again on a smaller TV budget?
Yeah,
No,
no.
I guarantee you they'll want to do something else. Like the directors and the writers will be like, no, they did that already. I want to put my own spin on my own thing.
Yeah.
I guess. I mean, you would have to do that.
Like they'll either do that or they'll start writing their own.
I guess. I mean, you could put it any. Oh my God! By the way, sidetrack for a second. If you guys out there in Twitch land are not watching The Handmaid's Tale, you are missing out so bad. Like the book was good, but the show I think is better than the book. Just like it's amazing. Yeah, it's pretty solid.
Cool.
Tiffany, are you watching it?
I'm not. Should I?
All right. What's our next topic?
Yeah.
The dumb Tish.
I am so disappointed, Tiffany.
Well-
So disappointed. Actually, I have no idea how you would respond to it. I don't know if you would enjoy it or if you would absolutely despise it.
Well, now I gotta watch it.
Did you never read the Handmaid's Tale book? I
didn't.
Oh, okay. Well, just read the synopsis online, and then the show basically expands on that. It gets you a lot more of the background stuff. So.
Okay, I'm down with that. I'll watch it.
It's pretty good.
I'll check it out. I'll let you know. I'll be like, Rob, why'd you make me watch that?
I've been hearing good things about it, but yeah. So our next story here in another category of shows we're probably not watching, but this was news anyway, and I needed to fill the topic list. Harley Quinn slated for the Gotham season 3 finale. I quit Gotham halfway into season 2, never looked back, and never been happier.
Yeah.
Wow, that's it. Like, so, like, literally DC's like, I don't care. We've got characters in movies, but then we got characters in shows, and I don't care.
Yep.
Harley Quinn will also be in this show before Batman is in the show.
Good idea. Hey, you know who else would be a cool character to add to Gotham? Superman, Green Arrow, Nightwing would be a great character to put into Gotham.
Oh man, I so want to see little kid Oliver Queen show up. He's like a shitty trust fund kid because he hasn't gone to the island yet and learned some respect. So he's just a real D-bag. And he's like, hey, little Bruce Wayne, here, toke up on this, buddy.
Well, it's kind of weird. Like, what were you going to say?
No, go ahead. Go. No. You're saying a real thing.
I thought you were going to be like, why am I not watching The Handmaid's Tale? So
I know. I'm like, I gotta go.
No, it's weird to me because it doesn't really make any sense. It's like, hey, here's all these characters that are just like a byproduct of Bruce Wayne. Like Bruce Wayne and whoever the Joker is first met, and then the Joker became the Joker, and then he entranced like Harley Quinzel, and she became like Harley Quinn, and that's how she became that villain. Well, like, what if that didn't happen, though? What if, like, everything that leads to these characters becoming who they are didn't happen that way, and, like, they're just there now? It's like, but I mean, like, why, though? Like, but I think the issue is that they're kind of running out of things. They're like, okay, look, we've got Bruce Wayne as a kid. Like, I mean, I don't know why they don't just jump forward. Why they're not just like, and let's get into Batman now. Yeah,
then it's not Gotham anymore. Then it's Batman.
Fine!
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I mean, I haven't watched it for a little while, and I wouldn't say it's the worst thing ever. But I feel like you can make in like a couple seasons out of the Court of Owls, even just showing them, like building, like rising to prominence.
They already did the Court of Owls.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you could turn into like a season or two where it's like, here's how
they also did Azrael and the Mutant Leader already.
Really?
Yes. Search Gotham, the Mutant Leader.
What is the writer's room for this show look like? Is it just pages from comics with cool images and like fractions of like storylines? They're like, I don't know what this is from, but we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
I wish my reviews of the first season still stuck around because you could see me like in the first little bit be like, this show has potential. I like the guy who plays Bullock. To by the end of the season, me just pulling my hair up, being like, do the writers not talk to each other? Do the writers go out of their way to like Mad Lib every episode? Sadly, those videos are lost to time in YouTube and the old outfit that I worked with. But yeah.
It's like, man, Gotham needs to just the Gotham show. If you want to like hard reboot or fix it, and you don't want to make it a Batman show, you still do the time jump. Batman exists. He's never in the show, and the show is about the GCPD and about them dealing with Batman. And like all the Jim Gordon rooftop stuff, every scene takes place right before or right after Gordon has those moments. And like and that's the show. And like it's about like Batman's dealing with Mr. Freeze, and there's still crime happening in Gotham, and the police have to deal with it. Like do a show about
what it should always have been.
Yeah, well, that's what they're doing is boring, and it's weird that they're like Hugo Strange and like
and Mr.
Freeze, and the Joker maybe, like all these random supervillains that are formulating into like Penguin. They're all characters that are being established 20 years before Bruce Wayne becomes Batman.
They could have just pulled from Brubaker's Gotham Central, the one that's just about the GC. It's just right there.
It's all right there. Just adapt each issue as an episode.
The thing that made me laugh the hardest is what they did with Poison Ivy. It's like, ooh, we made her a teenager, though. But we want to tell actual Poison Ivy stories. So she got 20 years older out of nowhere. So it's not creepy anymore for us to do Poison Ivy stories.
Eat it, Gotham.
Okay, here's another thing, actually, because now you're tearing open old wounds with Gotham. In the first season, they had Renee Montoya and Crispus Allen set up as the other team to Gordon and Bullock. As with every cop story, you need the other team. They were only ever in a couple episodes. written off and never seen again, but they also had this really messed up, really Fox-style storyline where Renee and Gordon's wife were actually in a relationship with each other, but they were also drinking and taking pills because this is Fox and this is how we, view this sort of thing. Because it's not scandalous enough. God, I hate Gotham.
Next topic!
Yep. Friggin' smash the plate. Yep. This is actually a perfect segue into the real meat of this episode, which is talking about Wonder Woman. That is, hey, Wonder Woman has the biggest ever opening weekend for a film directed by a woman ever.
Oh, yeah. Dude. And I understand why, man. Like, okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be totally honest.
Wait, are we going into it now?
I assume we were.
Yeah, I mean, there's really nowhere else to go after that.
All right, here we go. I'm ready. I'm preparing.
I was so like when this movie came out and I went to go see it, I was like, okay, so there was Man of Steel and there was Batman versus Superman.
Yep.
And this is just going to be more of the same, and it's probably not going to be very good.
Right.
And I was looking at the ratings and I was like, dude, okay, crappy movies do not usually get super good ratings. Like, there have been movies with great ratings that don't perform well at the box office.
Yes.
But usually people are just like, a movie doesn't get 90%, and then people are like, and it sucked. Like, that never really happens.
No.
And so I was like, okay, so I have some hope. Let me tell you something, man. Like, I think this was one of the best superhero movies that I've seen. Like, in general. Like, I absolutely love it. I think most of Marvel's movies are better. But I thought this was a solid movie. Like, definitely the best that DC's done so far. Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, no question.
It was
Well,
great.
I think what you're touching on there, Rob, is that this movie, while maybe not being as clever or the story is a little more simple than some of the Marvel films, it captures and encapsulates the spirit of the character. And considering it has such a long history to do that with, it's incredibly impressive to have done that within the time frame that they had.
Yeah. Well, here's the other thing too. It kind of felt like a Marvel movie.
Right?
To be honest.
In a lot of ways.
In a lot of ways. I was watching it and I was like, okay, so we have what amounts to the origin story. Check.
Yep.
We have the main character meets the person that will help her out. Check. We have the person who's most likely to be the villain but probably isn't. Check. And then we get to the end and we have the final battle, cliched statements. Check. Marvel movie.
Yeah.
I was like, this is like a Marvel movie.
Also, don't forget, a military captain named Steve sacrifices himself for the good of everyone by blowing up an experimental plane.
Yeah.
That's also and also the not howling commandos, them too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, the not howling commandos.
The off-the-books commandos.
I actually really enjoyed those guys too. I especially like the dude Spud from Train Spotting sings beautifully in this, like he does in Train Spotting.
Well, okay, here's the crazy thing. It felt like a combination between the DC Rebirth origin by Greg Rucka and Azzarello's New 52 origin.
Yeah.
New 52 story. But it was funny because I was waiting for the moment where she's talking to Steve Trevor. And she's like, oh my God, Steve Trevor, I have powers. And he's like, really? How do you know? And she's like, the woodland critters told me so. They appeared to me in the night and told me that I have superpowers. Like a deer and a wombat and some bats. They showed up. That's what happened in year one. She's sitting in a prison cell.
It did. Oh,
and,
I see.
The woodland critters are you have powers, Wonder Woman.
Well, they were the Greek gods assuming the form of woodland critters.
Whatever,
but
man.
yes.
She saw
Whatever, man,
woodland
that sucks.
critters in a jail cell. And suddenly she has powers. Well, she did. I mean, she pulled the thing off. But it's just weird to me. I'm like, okay, this chick's crazy. She's absolutely nuts. Talking about woodland critters giving her powers. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard.
Then the woodland critter said, "Hail Satan!"
Oh man, they got red eyes and
Christmas critters came.
Christmas critters.
No.
We
No.
tried to, he was raped by Christmas critters.
They're
Oh,
raping
no.
all of us.
Get out of there.
Oh, we should not go down that path.
No.
Probably
The
not.
Woodland Critters Christmas.
No.
It was a great movie. I didn't think Gal Gadot would be able to pull off a compelling Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
She did an amazing job.
She's uniquely fitted for this performance because she has this kind of foreign charm about her and this interesting affect. She's still a very young actress. This is only her fourth big movie or something, and probably the only time she's ever led. But I think she's
Headline,
uniquely suited for the material.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, she can
Rob, I'm
stand
really
to
glad
like,
that-
put a little meat on her bones, but yeah.
I was gonna say, I'm really glad that you said that you also didn't think that she could live up to it, because I was the same way. Like after Batman v Superman, like there was so little of her in it, and you really couldn't tell anything. All you were just seeing were like photos of her in the costume. I was like, I maybe, because that's not in my head what Wonder Woman's gonna look like. And then she just completely changed my mind, like entirely. I was like, oh,
She embodied the character, and I think we can all agree the moment where we stopped seeing Gal Gadot and started seeing Wonder Woman is the No Man's Land trench scene, where I'm like, okay,
That was
you got
amazing.
me.
Yeah,
It was great.
that was pretty
oh
solid.
no, she had me way before that. The movie had me from the opening.
Really? It had me from the opening
Yeah.
credits. As soon as I saw
No,
the
no,
opening
no, I didn't
credits, I
even-
was like, yes,
Those
Wonder
were
Woman.
solid.
Oh well, yeah, that was something totally different. That got you in the right mindset. No, and like I said that in our video too. Like the movie opens, we're on Themyscira. There's little Diana. We see the training montage. Tiffany's crying.
Oh.
Like I was literally overwhelmed by the feeling of wishing I was a child.
Really?
I was completely overwhelmed by that sequence of events.
I wish
Rob,
I
you
was
sound
a
like you don't
kid
believe
living
her.
on
You're like,
Themyscira.
really?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's just, yeah. I wish I was a little girl living on an island outside of this universe in like a little pocket dimension that nobody could access except for a pilot who somehow made it through the portal and it's never explained, but he lands
Yeah.
in the water and then I rescue him and then we somehow get back through the portal and that's never explained, but, and then we're in the real world and then I get ice cream. I feel like Wonder Woman and ice cream is like a staple of the
Yeah.
character, right? Like every
And yet
single
it never
origin she
used to
gets.
be, and
No,
yet they're
it was-
making it a staple now.
They're
I wonder if
making
that
it a
has something to
staple.
do with the fact that Cold Stone Creamery made a special Wonder Woman ice cream, and so they had to get like a little embedded marketing there.
I think it has to do
Oh,
with the
really?
fact that Jeff Johns is integrally involved in the DCEU and he created that moment.
Yeah.
But that said, I like that moment. It was kind of
Also,
cool. It was
ice cream encapsulates like a certain innocence, but also like technological advances, because it's not
Yeah.
something that's naturally occurring beyond just ice.
you have
if
to
you're in
think about
the
creating
planets.
ice cream. You can't
Yeah,
just
like,
have it's not yeah.
It's a creation of man, which is pretty much the opposite of fire. And like again, like you associate ice cream with like a certain innocence, and so like I liked that tool essentially.
Yeah,
Interesting.
It's a good moment.
Okay, so do we want to have spoilers?
Yeah, let's get into the
'Cause
spoilers.
I feel like the conversation's struggling without spoilers.
Oh, I mean, I already spoiled a big thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
I think
yeah.
we're already in
yeah.
there.
Okay, so yeah, we're going into spoilers, guys. So you have 3, 2, 1. All right, spoilers. So, God, man, I can't believe what's his name turned out to be Ares. That actually
Professor
blew me away.
Lupin.
Professor
Yeah,
Lupin.
Professor
That-
Lupin.
Dude, that actually threw me for a loop. Like I
I
never
picked it up
expected
right
that.
away because
I
it
didn't.
obviously couldn't be Danny Houston, so it had to be the only other character actor in the movie.
See,
I
now
never saw
that's
that
where
coming.
Joel, sir, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of disappointed in you because of like the mindset you just put yourself in there. Because I knew it wasn't the guy they thought it was, and I was fairly certain it was Lupin. But there was a moment there where I was like, "Is it Morrow? Like, would Ares take the form of a woman?"
Yeah.
That's what I, thought
would've
it may
liked
have been.
that.
And
I
like
mean-
so, like for a little bit, I was like, they might do that to switch it up to really throw us off. But then I was like, obviously it wasn't going that way. But like, yeah, like for a little bit, I was like, it could be either like any one of these three individuals.
Yeah.
Well, oh, go ahead, man.
I was just gonna say,
Sal, go
I
ahead.
really thought it was gonna be.
Go ahead, dude.
I really thought it was gonna be Danny Houston because putting him in your movie is basically admitting you didn't want to do any work. Like, I want to have a guy you don't trust or like, and he can play the bad guy, and he doesn't need to have backstory, so I'll cast Danny Houston.
He needs to
And
have a
here he
rat
is.
face.
And it was actually him being a red herring, which was kind of genius. Like, it circumvented my expectations where I'm like, oh my God, you didn't even try. And they're like, yeah, we did. See, we made you think we didn't try, but nope. And it's like, oh, okay, nice job. Like, but he still sucks. I really don't like that actor.
I was gonna say, here's some shit for you. The guy he plays, Eric von Ludendorff. I found this out in my research. He was a real guy.
Oh, did he speak English all the time?
No, but he actually existed, and apparently he really was against the armistice for World War I. And I'm like, dude, he probably has family who's still alive and still has descendants. I wonder how they feel about this.
Dude, that would have
probably
been
You should have supported
hilarious.
the armistice and stopped the war. All right.
Yeah.
I
Dude,
guess.
if like at the end of that movie, they were like, yeah, Ludendorff has family, and here are their names, and like lists off his family's names.
It's like no one else in the movie is real, but they grabbed this one obscure German general to be like one of the bad guys, one of the heaters for the movie. And I'm like, really? He was real?
Well, okay. See, all right. Maybe it was me kind of going into it and just kind of like I was waiting for the moment when I was like, yes, this is amazing. Then have the rug pulled out from under me by something really dumb.
Yeah.
And so I thought they were going to go in the direction of, well, there really is no Ares. It's just like humanity's desire for war is Ares.
Yeah,
like, it's
we're
just a
Ares.
collective- Yeah, like humanity is Ares.
Yeah.
Like I thought that's what was going to happen. And so it's just like Ludendorff is Ares insofar as he's just like the enemy there, but like he represents humanity's desire for war, which I would have been like, that is the worst thing ever. And I would have been so mad. Which if that one thing, that would have tanked the movie. If they had said that was the case, like it would have bombed the movie so bad. But to have like an actual Ares,
I would have been upset.
Well, see, it's funny. I actually would have kind of liked that because Steve gives the speech about how, like, oh, there's darkness inside the hearts of all mankind, but, you still want to protect us anyway, and that's cool. You just can't defeat a guy and end the war. Wonder Woman then defeats a guy and ends the war, making that speech kind of useless.
But no, I mean, like, we see her end what they were dealing with currently. I don't think she ended the war, but she probably did allow for the armistice to happen because it was going to happen regardless, but they were going to ruin it by releasing their gas. So, like, yes, she does, but no, she doesn't.
Yeah.
It's a lot of back and forth.
You can add me all you want. You know I'm right.
I know.
We'll agree to disagree. I mean, 2 + 2 might equal 4.
I think about it too, and I know other people have said this. At first, I wasn't sure about moving the movie to World War I because so much of Wonder Woman's coolest shit happens in World War II, was the era in which she was created. But they use a lot of the World War I setting to be like, hey, a lot of war is cold, directionless, and clusterfucky, where there's shades of gray on both sides. You couldn't really do that in World War II.
Well, and it also is cool. I like the idea of using World War I, not just because they're like, we can't make everyone just immediately think of Captain America, but they also World War I is interesting because it allows you to kind of like play with the idea of war, and you have this race of beings, the Amazons, who are kind of almost defined by war because they're a warrior race. They are like constantly tempering themselves for battle and for conflict. And then you have that set against the backdrop of World War I, which like people kind of willingly entered into because they hadn't had one in a long time and thought, hey, gee whiz, like maybe this will help us accomplish some things we wanted to. Like we entered into war lightly. And it allowed us to kind of say like, war ain't no joke, and it's not really a game, and it allows it, and it's the first time the world went like, we really can't do this shit anymore. And then it's kind of like, it sucks because at the end, they're like, we saved it, blah, 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 yay. And then I'm like, yeah, and then like 15 years later, you screw it all up again.
Yeah,
like,
until the next one, where it's like, it's the Great War until the sequel, which is arguably worse in every way.
Yes, but I mean, it's cool that they that they dealt with it. I was like, that's I liked the idea behind it, and I liked and you were able to accomplish something historically and narratively that you wouldn't have otherwise.
Yeah,
that worked.
Right, and I think it's also interesting because World War I is when we see a shift in technology for warfare itself, and so to place a warrior who uses a sword and a shield and a lasso into that, like seemingly that person is now ill-equipped against the new horrors that man has created.
Yes.
So like I like that as like just an overall challenge of like man versus like technology in a sense.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the theater of war changes significantly in World War II. You also have your bombs, your mechanical weapons. You have your chemical weapons. There's a lot of neat like ideas at play in this movie.
Speaking of weapons, can I say too, one of my favorite aspects of this movie is they don't over-explain Wonder Woman's powers and gear and everything. You get to see how they work by watching her use them. It's not like Man of Steel Superman where they got so bogged down in explaining how he can do this, that, and the other. Yeah. It's just like, hey, here's our gauntlets. They do this. Here's the lasso. It does this. It's a sword and a shield. You know what these do?
And there's no like, and there's no narration about like the gauntlets are forged by blah blah blah, and if you clang them together, it'll do this.
Right.
No, you get it because you saw it happen.
Yeah.
I also I don't want to make it into this, but I do want to point out that probably selecting World War I, along with all the other things that we said, women didn't have the right to vote in the United Kingdom or the U.S. during that time period. Yeah. So it created an interesting world for her to enter into.
That's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. she was walking around looking all hot and everything. They made her put on that weird dress thing. But no, okay. So here was a funny thing too.
That's
One of
Rob's
the things.
complaint. I just love that's your complaint. You got this gorgeous woman. You're covering her all up.
Covered her all up. One of the
Fuck the
things
best.
that I didn't really I wouldn't say I didn't like. One of the things that I found kind of weird was that she couldn't fly, and that was something that caught me because like she just jumped around. She's like, I can jump far.
Well, that's how Superman started.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's like,
We have that bit at the end of the
Wonder
movie where she
Woman.
like jumps off, and I'm like, are they implying that she'll learn to fly eventually? But then I'm like, but no, Batman v Superman, she didn't fly while fighting Doomsday, so I guess she can't fly.
She didn't always fly. Like it wasn't like flying isn't like a guaranteed Wonder Woman power. So for me, I was like, cool, all right. I mean, like you shouldn't need to fly.
Maybe they want to save the jet for the sequel too. Maybe they want
Right,
to.
and I have no problem with her like using her strength to rocket her body into things and then punch them. I think that's fine, even if it's not
that's fair.
flying. Like I would take that if I could do that. I would take that and be okay. I couldn't fly.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought she was able to fly. I mean, because it doesn't sound cool if she can't. Like, it's like, hey, guys, like, we are the Justice League. It's like, roll call. It's like, well, I'm Superman, and you know what I can do? It's like, I'm Batman, you know what I can do? I'm Wonder Woman. I've got my lasso of truth, and I've got my little bracelet things to make bullets bounce off me. I can jump really high. It's like, okay. I mean, it doesn't sound cool.
Wonder
Like,
Woman has many powers.
Yeah.
I can jump far, you know? I can jump into people.
She could also put her fist through your head.
Yeah, but it's
Yeah.
But, okay. But flying is like the cherry on top. It's not necessary, but it's nice. to look
I'm
at.
also a
It's cool to
demigod
have.
because that's the bit they chose to take from the Azzarello run, which means I'm a god killer. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's the God Killer. I
She
mean,
is, yeah.
I mean, it was cool to see like the whole Ares thing, and I was kind of hoping that would happen. Like once they introduced the concept of Ares, I was like, okay, there's two things I want to come out of this. One, I want Ares to be an actual person, and two,
Right.
I want her to kill Ares and become the new God of War. Like that's what I hope happens. So. Yeah, I'm
Okay.
yeah, exactly. I'm Cyborg. I'm like the custodian. Like I just keep an eye on things, security guard. Like I just keep an eye on things. Like
Well,
you
I
know,
used to be
watch
Martian Manhunter,
stuff.
but
Yeah.
I'm the Martian Manhunter. People forget I exist.
Yeah, come in, Cyborg. This is Superman. How's things going up there? It's like, oh, I'm just watching TV. Or something. Well, let me know if
Yeah.
anything changes.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
yeah, I'm just
Man, I
binging
miss
The
the
Handmaid's
Titans.
Tale.
Yeah, just watching him. I'm just watching Netflix. Like,
Yeah.
I would read
Just
that
hanging.
comic. It's just like a comic. It's like a one shot. It's just like Cyborg's off day, and like he's just at the Justice League Watchtower, just like being the security guy while the Justice League is out doing stuff. And like
Yep.
you get these little scenes where Superman's just like, like fighting this guy, and Batman's just like, oh my god, the Joker! Like, what is he doing? Like everybody's doing awesome stuff, and like
Yeah.
Cyborg's just like watching Netflix because he doesn't
Yeah,
have anything
Cyborg's
else
like,
to do.
Cyborg, we get a close up of Cyborg going, oh no! And then it like cuts him on the couch, like eating popcorn, watching that show, just being like, no.
Then I'm
That's
sure at some point he's got to get up and make some coffee. He's got to go, let the other heroes' pets out, do that
oh
sort of
man.
thing.
He makes coffee, he just dings, then he opens up his chest and he takes out a Keurig. Like, just like, yeah.
Nice.
Oh, it's funny too because like I'll do that on my channel. Like I'll run over I'll be doing like a Justice League story, and like the Cyborg fans will get so pissed. But I'll go through and I'll just be like, everybody in the Justice League, like they all have like intrinsic roles to play, right? Like Superman is
Yeah.
the backbone, and Wonder Woman's like the warrior, Batman's the thinker, like Cyborg's the security guard. And people will get so pissed.
Yeah.
But
Hey,
which
he's
is
at
like,
least
Cyborg
tech
fans will get
support,
so mad.
Rob.
They're not wrong. I mean, like, well, because Cyborg is not a Justice Leaguer. He was created and then eventually used most effectively as a Titan.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a role on the Titans. It's cosmetic. By the way, I had a really quick joke about he makes his own coffee out of his body. It's really inappropriate, but I'm making it anyway. Where he goes, "I like my coffee the way I like my me." Anyway,
Wow.
Nice.
Oh,
And
man.
that's the sort of jokes he could get away with if he was a Titan. If he said that on the Justice League, they'd be like, that's not cool, Victor.
Superman would be like, "Excuse me, inappropriate."
Language.
They'd be like,
So
"What?"
I don't know if it was just my interpretation of this, but I thought it was interesting that they gave what's
You want to
his.
talk about the movie?
I'm talking.
I
I'm,
like
I'm
coffee
just.
the way I
I'm
like
taking
my
control
meat.
for a second. I've grabbed the reins and I'm
That's
bringing
fine.
back.
Please do.
That they create this like pseudo powder or whatever that gives individuals like powers and such. And
Yeah.
no, hang on. I liked that because it kind of threw you off guard because you're thinking to yourself, Ares is not real at all.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like Ares is a fabrication of man, and that's all that it is. And this person is like literally came here thinking that Ares is real and is about to find out that no, see, we can give anybody powers and they're strong and they're godlike and whatever, and it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And she just punches the hell out of them and is like, nah, he is, and look, there he is. Like, I thought that was that was just the way I interpreted it. I liked like that. I like them like taking it and being like, we're leading you down this one path. No, magic's real.
Yeah,
There's
I
God.
did like them playing with misconceptions or with your perception in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing I dug about this movie and its portrayal of World War I is that it's like, hey, everyone from many different walks of life helped out on this one to work out. Even people who were enemies before, like the chief talks about how, oh, Steve's people stole my land.
Right.
You have Sammy, and here's something I had to actually read later on. So Sammy, real name Samir, in London at that point, calling an Indian person a Sammy was actually a very racist term.
Yeah, it sounds
Really?
about
But
right.
But Steve goes out of his way to call him Samir every time, even though Sammy introduces himself as Sammy. And I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. They're tackling a racial thing, but it's a thing you wouldn't even know if you didn't know that that was a thing.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
It's a
okay.
cute nickname.
But I mean, honestly, you know what? We're not even gonna go there. There's, yeah, there would
All
be
right.
other
So
ways
anyway,
for them to tackle that.
I felt I also I appreciated the restraint they had with Etta Candy, because in the trailer she seemed a little overwhelming, but they didn't overuse the character, and like so I think she just worked nicely within the rest of the ensemble cast.
Yeah,
The
she,
pure
they-
golden age goofiness too. I liked it.
Exactly. She would have gotten real annoying really fast if they had like just ran her into the ground. It's like, oh my god, this comedic relief is just getting annoying now.
Stop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it was just nicely done. I know we've talked about this before, or at least Sal and I did, but like the just like directing wise, like the callbacks, like Steve Trevor on Themyscira sees them do the move with the shield where like they pop up anti-uppy so that she can do like her flip and all that, and he learns from that later on without like making it a big thing. You know, we don't have a flashback. It's just Steve Trevor learned something and he's going to utilize it now. And I was like, that's just smart. That's just smart filmmaking.
Yeah.
Sure
And of
was.
course, you know, having Buttercup in your film is awesome.
Yeah.
Every
And
scene
ever-
she was in the trailers. That is true. Every scene that Etta Candy was in the trailers.
Yeah.
That's right.
Which is why I was like really concerned, because that was like, I'm like, what is the actual percentage of edit to movie? Because edit to trailer is like a lot.
Yeah.
There was a comedy relief character. It's just it was Steve. I like that they collapsed the love interest and the comedy relief into one role. And I'm like, that's really good usage of your time.
But-
and also it allows Chris Pine to be funny, which I never thought he was.
Right,
He's funny.
right.
I
Well,
like him.
my understanding is Patty Jenkins looks at Steve Trevor the way that Lois Lane used to be to Superman before they became more romantically entangled.
It's exactly
which-
what he was.
Well, yeah, which is like she's just there to believe in him. And so Steve Trevor is there to believe in Wonder Woman. Like that's how she was kind of looking at this. And while yes, there was a little bit of romantic entanglement, at the end of the day, it was more just like he supported her in a sense.
Right.
And I was like, that's a nice way to handle this. And I like that approach.
And
Yeah.
even getting rid of him worked too, because if you look at Wonder Woman's 75-year history, there are huge swaths of it that have no Steve in it at all. And obviously,
Yeah.
being in World War I, he can't be in the Justice League. He can't be in the future movies.
No.
So
Yeah.
better to give him a
He's
good
too old.
send-off.
Yeah.
That was kind of disappointing. I really wish he was a character that they could use again. And I feel like every comic book movie has that problem. Like, hey guys, here's this really amazing character that we could easily use for future movies, and it would be amazing if we had him, but we're gonna kill him.
Right.
And it's like, well,
You talking about a certain blue alien as of recent, at the very least, to
just throwing it out there. I mean, there's all different kinds of them, man. You know, he's just one of them. You know, but it's just like man, like we could definitely. I mean, imagine this character if he were like in Infinity War, or if she were Infinity War, you know, or if he and or she were in Infinity War. Imagine what that character would be like. But they're not, because they're dead.
Oh, but they're not, and they can never be. By the way.
It's why you'll find out there's Steve Jr., who will come and hang out with Wonder Woman.
Right, but like we have to know that like entering into a period piece film, that like most of the characters that we meet there, unless they are like godly, magical, or super long lived, are more than likely we're not going to see them again. So it's one of those things where it's like I just have to enjoy the journey because it's fleeting.
Right.
Yeah, but that's why you use a throwaway character. And you don't introduce Steve Trevor until later on. You're just like, hey, here's this person that Wonder Woman met. You know,
Right,
just
right.
crashed
And
You
and
change his
whatever.
origin, otherwise, like then you would completely fundamentally alter the origin of Wonder Woman, because then it's like,
True.
yeah, Wonder Woman's first. The first man that Wonder Woman encounters is some guy.
Yeah, it's
Who
not
cares?
Steve Trevor. It's
Yeah.
Hey Dude.
It was
It's
Sergeant
someone
Rock.
else.
Oh, that'd be okay.
That's my pitch for a Wonder Woman sequel. It's World War II now. She needs to team up with the Blackhawks, Sergeant Rock, Gravedigger to fight the Nazi scientist Barbara Ann Minerva, who's trying to use cheetah powers to win World War II.
I was convinced the Blackhawks were going to be in this movie. If they were, it was really subtle, and I didn't see it.
There was no Easter eggs and no real callbacks, which that takes a lot of restraint in this era of
I'm
superhero
sure
movie
Mr. Sunday
making.
Movies found 13 freaking
I'm sure he did. Let's look now. He probably did. He's been
gentle
on the
ribbing with the goat. By the way, I'm not giving
He's
a
been
hard
on the show. We like him.
What,
I'm gone.
by the time we were leaving Themyscira, I was like, man, you know what I could really use? Just a whole movie about Amazons, just doing Amazon things, because like they're awesome.
They
Like,
should just do a series.
yeah, like let them go on like a mythology quest of some kind. I don't care. I just want that.
There's
Yeah.
clearly a whole history there. In fact, this movie lays down the creation myth for the DC universe, saying like, yes, Zeus created man, which makes all the Jesus allegories in Man of Steel hilarious in comparison now. Sorry, Clark, there was only one god, and his name was Zeus.
Hey, listen, you can still have that. Jesus existed. We believe he just he just didn't do anything important.
Mr.
He
Sunday
was
Movies
programmed
fan,
and he was a
didn't
good
just
robot.
He was exceptionally well built.
Yeah. No, I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be funny if they did like a sequel like Wonder Woman 2 and like Cheetah is basically like the right-hand man of Hitler. You know, and it's just like she's one of Hitler's closest confidants, and Hitler's like, hey, go seek out like artifacts or something that may give us like an upper hand against the Allies with special powers. And she's like, yes, and now I'm a cheetah. Like it'd be, it'd be
And Cheetah's heavy. Her heater is Captain Nazi, who drives around in a war wheel. Because when else are you going to get to use those things?
You don't get to. Yeah, you got to see the War Wheel.
Go full
overall,
Indiana Jones.
Overall, I thought the action was really good too, just well shot. Like it looked nice. I could tell what was happening. It looked like it was like it had weight and like heft, and like literally it was like people doing things even if they weren't actually doing them. I thought that was nicely handled.
There was a little too much slow down, speed up for my taste, but I learned to deal with it. I was so invested in the character. I'm like, okay, this is fine.
Oh, I love when they do that because it always reminds me of like certain art styles, like actual like painterly art styles, which I thought was done intentionally in this, particularly when we go to the CG storytelling of Zeus, which has a really painterly effect over it. So like I thought that was
nice.
all very intentionally done.
That was really I thought that was one of the coolest effects I've seen in movies, because one, it's like she's made of clay, and two, it had like a very clay effect to it. Like there were these little models moving on a table somewhere, and it looked really, really cool. Like I really loved that. Like I hope that's an effect that they use. I mean, not too often, but I hope it's an effect they definitely use later on down the line, because I thought it looked great. Like within the context, that's one of the other things that I really dug too. Is almost everything about the movie was in some form or fashion tied to like the Greek mythological context of Wonder Woman. So you went over everything, and it was like, okay, this feels like a Greek mythological thing. Like she could be eating ice cream and be like, this is the greatest ice cream ever. It's like, yes, like that. Surely that's in Greek mythology. Like something about somebody eating ice cream somewhere. Like I mean, you get that feel from almost everything that she does, and it's really kind of cool. So
Yeah, well, because even in that scene, like she's like, "You should be proud of this," which is not something that we would ever say to anyone else. Like we would never think to say something like that. But like where she comes from, like artisan craftsmanship is a huge thing, and that's a huge thing in Greek and Roman culture and mythology. So like, of course, we would tie it into that. So I totally agree with you, Rob.
Velvet
like
Enigma. Velvet Enigma.
Yeah, right. Uh-oh.
Splooge.
That was slightly delayed.
Well, that one's almost 24 months. That's almost 2 years of subscription.
That is.
What
Oh, Enigma.
Oh, wait a minute.
No.
Wait a minute.
Oh, he wasn't done. He wasn't done
Wait
yet.
a minute. I feel the spirits.
No.
The
I
force
feel
is
the
awaking. Do you feel it?
splooge Spirit. Splooge.
Oh, you killed Sal. You killed him. He's
Sal
dead
left.
now. Thanks,
How
Rob.
did you leave? Oh, man.
That liquid coming out the nose, was that why you had to run away?
Oh, man.
Why?
I thought it was because it's awesome. That's why. 'Cause it's
This is our job. We're at work right now, everybody.
Yeah, we're literally doing our job at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it was cool. I mean, like I said, I was never too upset about the whole Ares thing.
It could have been handled a little better.
But see, to me, it didn't feel out of the way. I've grown accustomed, and maybe it's just because of watching Marvel movies, but I've grown accustomed to having like a really cool villain, and then he just kind of gets squandered, like Thanos. Like I'm really excited about Thanos, but I'm also terrified because we've seen some pretty insane things in the MCU so far. Hela is going to break the hammer of Thor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, that will happen in Thor Ragnarok. Now, I can guarantee you, if they follow the comics, Thanos is a lot more powerful than Hela is.
Right.
So, if they follow that trend, then it's like, well, what is Thanos going to do? But then it's just like, no, Thanos is nowhere near as powerful as we think he is. He's just, like, really arrogant, and he has the stones. You know, he's, like, a little more powerful than Thor, maybe, depending, you know? And so, like, that's what I'm afraid of happening. Now, my dream scenario is Thanos is just, like I don't need the stones, and just like manhandles like the Incredible Hulk and Thor by himself without the Infinity Stones. Like that's my whole. I really hope that happens. Like we get to see that crazy OP Thanos. I'm really kind of thinking that because I just finished the first finished recording the first volume of Thanos from Marvel Now 2.0, which is stupidly good if you're not reading it.
Yeah.
But no, I mean that's the kind of thing I'm worried about. So.
I am in awe of Rob's like thought process that just happened. He's like, hang on, let's talk about Wonder Woman, but wait a minute. Marvel
Thanos.
Cosmic.
Yeah.
Guys.
Well, no, it's just
all
like
roads lead to.
they introduce Ego the Living Planet. All right?
Yeah.
Super obscure character to anybody except even the most
Not a
diehard
villain.
fans. Yeah, that's not a villain. You know, and he was a great concept, and they literally killed him off in that movie. You know, and it's like, but why? It's a living planet. Like, why did you kill him?
No, and that totally but like with the thing about gods is it's a god. A god can come back.
I guess.
They can make that work without it having to be like you probably more accept it because it's closer to magic. You know what I mean? Like Ares could come back.
I sure hope they do, because like as much as I love Wonder Woman, her villain pool is pretty shallow, and if this gets to be a trilogy, I doubt we're gonna see Dr. Psycho or Silver Swan or any of these other people step into Wonder Woman.
I mean, even getting Cheetah is like, oh.
Because her name is Cheetah, and everyone
Cersei.
thinks Super Friends. Oh, Cersei too. That's well. There's your big one for the third one. It needs to be Cersei.
You get that one chick that gets that grows to be really big and is strong and stuff.
Giganta.
Giganta. Yeah, I mean, there's.
I
things
love
that you can
Giganta
do,
so
but
much.
I'm afraid. I really hope it's a formula they don't follow, where they're like, "Oh, guys, man, check this out! Like, we're sitting here at the writers' table, and there's this amazing villain that we could use. Like, think of all the things we could do with them. It's like, yeah, we could do this story and this story and this story. It's like, but we can only do one. Well, why? Well, because we got to kill her at the end.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's like,
Yeah.
no.
Well, and you know why? Because in 1989 we killed the Joker, and so we established a precedent of murdering the most iconic villains in the first movie and never thinking past that one movie we made.
Right, but they don't always, and as much as I hate to admit it, Doctor Strange did break that trend, because while they got rid of Caecilius, they left Mordo and Dormammu.
True.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Mordo was more of
they
a
didn't
good guy
kill-
than a bad guy until the very end.
No, but I know,
So-
but he was there and he's a character and we know he's a villain, but he remains. And Dormammu also remains. Like they're still there and they killed off a person that nobody really cared about.
No, I didn't care about him. I was like, I don't give a damn if I kill this thing coming back.
No, I do not want to. Yeah, I don't want to see Caecilius again. I'm good.
But my eyes were all messed up, guys.
We're all messed
Yeah,
up.
I love the character of Mads Mikberg or whatever his name is, but it was still kind of cool to see him. It was cool to see him as like Caecilius, but it's just like, okay, and he's gone now because Caecilius was never a relevant character in the comics anyway.
Yep.
So it's like, Mordo's the only one that I care about. But no, that's just kind of what I'm worried about, is that they might fall into that trap of, hey, we have a really cool villain, and now we have to kill him off. Because Cheetah is easily, the greatest thing about Cheetah is that she's an on-again, off-again villain. Sometimes they're allies, sometimes they're enemies. It just kind of depends on the context of a story. And there's a lot you can do with that relationship between those two characters. There's a lot you can do with the various members of her rogues gallery that she has, and I just don't want them to fall into the trap of, well, we can't use Cheetah anymore because we killed her, so now we got to just dig deeper and deeper and deeper until we get all the way to the bottom of the well to find the character that no one's heard of or cares about, and then throw him in the movie. So
there's also the sons of Ares too, like Egos and Deimos and all those other guys who have been villains before.
The other thing is, Cheetah could also is a cool looking character. Like,
Yeah.
I would like to see a like anthropomorphic cheetah woman like running
too.
around and doing the stupid jaguar yell and
Yeah.
Yes,
all the other
please.
tropey annoying things that they'll do.
I was gonna say, you mean the one they've been using it for the past 40 years? That one?
Yeah, the one in Blade when they have like a montage of vampires all doing things for no reason. A female vampire looks at the screen, opens her mouth, and the jaguar sound effect comes out, and you're like,
Nice.
no.
So,
But for this, for Cheetah, yes.
I know we're getting close to our end time for this show, so
End
I'm going
times.
to recommend, and I hope I'm not overstepping my bounds here, Rob, that we kind of get final thoughts on it, and then as the last ditch part of this, talk about that opening to the actual movie prior to the movie beginning, like the DCEU logo, essentially.
Yeah, the new DC
Oh,
intro.
yes.
So, like, last thoughts, everybody?
Yeah,
I think
love it.
I recommend it.
Yes, definitely. It's for her getting her first major real silver screen time. It was one hell of a way to start. So
Agreed.
I definitely enjoyed it.
This,
a good
this
foot
was
forward
the
for
good
everyone.
one.
Yeah. Now, if
It's-
only they can take that concept and duplicate it for like, I would reboot, man. If I were DC, I'd be like, okay, you know what? We're starting over. Like Wonder Woman was a huge success. All movies going forward get that format. And we got a new Batman. And we got a new Superman. And like that's what I would do.
You could
I
have
like-
to do it because it's like Wonder Woman should have been the first one because it takes place all the way in the past.
Right, and I like to think that when they're in the trenches and she's going over and she's made it to the other side and they're all like, she made it, she got over there. That's Batman and Superman. That's
She
their.
made it across
their
no man's
allegory.
land called good movie making, and she's there at the other end.
Let's go.
For me, the other thing is you could. I mean, like, I'm not suggesting they do reboot, and like I think we could maybe we could salvage the DCU from here. Who knows? But it's kind of amazing because the movie does stand on its own in a big way, and they actually are convenient enough where they tie it in with the DCEU in that she gets a letter from Bruce, but it's a letter. So, like, if we were to reboot, like who does Bruce Wayne? Who plays him? John Hamm. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, we're just gonna move forward and just we don't see him. There's no voiceover. Like, the only thing we get is a photo taken out of context from a movie that, like, we don't even worry about that movie. Like, you could watch Wonder Woman. I've said this before, but you could watch Wonder Woman 20 years from now, and you won't go like, why did the Suicide Squad get shoehorned into this movie? Like, no, there's no bullshit. It's literally just like the only cameo is Bruce Wayne's signature.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Did they have
So,
a post-credit scene? Because I didn't stay long enough.
It did
for
not.
that.
No, there weren't. Joel, did you have any final thoughts on Wonder Woman?
Really liked it. I think they took the time and the effort and they cared about it. And this is a great interpretation and a good boiling down of the character. I just really, really hope that Justice League honors what happened in this movie and honors the characterization of Wonder Woman. Because if not, I'm going to be really hurt.
I would not be the least bit surprised if Zack Snyder never saw even a rough cut of this movie.
That could be. Overall, I really liked the movie. I had a good time. I did everything I could to avoid anyone else's reviews before going there. I just want to have my own experience. Start to finish, I had a nice time. I loved seeing the age range of individuals who came to see the film, from 10-year-olds to like people in their like 70s and beyond, who came to the very theater where I was in to see this movie. Like that blew me away because, like, yeah, you'll see some variation in age when like going to see comic book movies, but this in particular I think struck a chord with a lot of people and they wanted to go and see it. And I recommend it to anybody who is a fan of comic book movies, and especially those who are not a fan of comic book movies, because I think this is a way people could enter into that realm. But let's honestly talk about that DCEU new logo,
Yeah.
because
it's
yeah.
well, because it like implies a great deal, and
Does it? Or is it just a cool logo? I think a lot of people are reading too much into it, honestly.
No, I think it implies an understanding that that the last four approaches were wrong.
Yeah.
And they need the good faith of the viewers, because Justice League was done a long time ago and in the same format and mentality as the last movies that by and large folk don't necessarily agree is the right step forward for the DCEU. So you're gonna see Wonder Woman, and then you're gonna see Justice League, and it's gonna be like, this feels really anemic. It feels like it was supposed to be one thing, and then it turned into another thing. And you're gonna be confused. But I think that this is like, take our word for it. We recognize that there's no reason, or that there's no reason to deny or be ashamed of the pantheon we're drawing, or the well we're drawing from.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying like we're gonna get a Mogo movie. I'm just saying that like we're getting an acknowledgement of the fact that like this is our history, this is our heritage, this is what we're doing. Like this is what we're drawing from, and it's okay. There's no shame in that.
Yeah.
Like we've kind of implied.
Yeah. You know, it's like they embrace comic books. Also, that like literally pulling an homage from the opening to Justice League.
Yeah.
Like, what a great callback to for those who knew what it was. And like, again, like it put me in the right mood immediately out of the gate. Like I was so excited by that. And then to just have it go into Wonder Woman, it set the tone. It set the tone for the movie.
Yeah. The other thing that I thought it was a little bit, and I think I said this in our review, was I think it's a little bit of an FU to Marvel. And I don't think, and by the way, not in like a like screw Marvel, like let's make up T-shirts that say like to boycott Marvel movies. I just mean like I think it's a little bit of an FU in as much as we saw Hawkman next to Batman and Plastic. Like there's Shazam is in there. Like it's their way of being like, you know, they're all owned by one company. We do have every character. Like we got them all. We could, if we felt like it, we could make a Booster Gold movie.
We probably
Marvel.
won't,
How are the X-Men doing?
we don't talk about it.
Like they're all together. I didn't have to pay a dime to get back the Plastic Man rights.
Yeah, it's like, hey DC, how are those movie ratings going?
No, I mean like
How's the
there's
organization of your
on
entire
both sides.
cinematic universe going?
It's just a way for them to say like, you know, like if we are gonna go full hog into like comic book movies and make like and own the fact that we're DC, we could theoretically make a Booster Gold Blue Beetle movie, and it wouldn't screw anything up or change anything. We could do a JSA movie. We could do anything. We could make an Etrigan TV series, and it could cross over into the movies. It doesn't matter. Like they could legitimately like. And Marvel's like, we can't even get the TV and the movie guys to agree on what the singular continuity. So
they used to, but I don't know what happened. Now they can't.
Like, well, until infighting until everyone got too successful.
Yeah.
You know what's interesting about the use of this opening is that there is a whole population of people who probably have not seen very many superhero movies and may not have seen many or any of the DC films who saw that for the first time. Yeah. And I think for them, like, walked away with a very different feel of what DCEU is, as opposed to like what previous incarnations, if they had gone for the first time to see one of the other ones, thinks that it is.
Right. Yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a good sign.
Yes, I think so too.
Awesome. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and bring this episode to an end. Yes, we are. Yeah, anyway.
Rob, you got any splooges left?
No, I have no splooges left. I'm all splooged
Y'all
out.
splooged out there, champ.
All my splooges are gone. They're no longer available. But anyway, guys. Yeah, thanks for coming out. Thanks for watching us this week. Make sure you guys you guys are gonna do the poll on Tuesday. You guys doing the poll? No,
Thursday.
Tuesday. Shit. Tiffany, you guys doing the poll on Thursday?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
we are.
Then make sure you guys come back, check out the poll. That's Tiffany's whole thing, and hang out with her and Joel and Caitlin talking about comics and stuff.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, guys. So yeah, we're gonna bounce off here. I guess what does everybody have coming out this week? Is that what we're gonna do? I don't know.
Why
You don't have to do that. It's up to you.
Man?
Oh, I don't know. What is it? Oh, Old King Galactus. Yeah, that's right. Galactus fights Galactus fights Thor. Old King Thor. Like that's gonna be coming out on my channel.
Love
I liked you calling him Old King Galactus because now I want that to be a child's nursery rhyme. I don't know how that works.
Apparently, Jason Aaron is going to be coming back and revisiting like the Galactus, the God Butcher, or the World Butcher whole concept.
Nice.
Yeah, like Galactus with a Necro Sword. Like apparently they're bringing that back. So,
Dude, I need him to come back and finish Doctor Strange because I did not like Hopeless's first tryout.
Here's something else too. Maybe you guys can help me figure this out. So right now in Marvel Comics, there are 3 hosts for the Phoenix Force.
Yeah.
There's Jean Grey, there's Thane, and there is
Rachel.
No, Quentin Quire.
Yep.
Oh, I thought Rachel Summers was also the host of the Phoenix Force.
She's not there as far as I know.
She's still around. She was in the Jean Grey book.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Because no, I'm pretty sure like Jean Grey is the host now. Like it's going to bond with her.
Okay.
Maybe Rachel is. I don't know. But there's 3 hosts of the Phoenix Force. Which one is the real Phoenix host? Like who's the real host?
Interesting.
I
think the Thanos one can take place at any point in time. They've gone out of their way to not say when that book takes place. And I'm pretty sure in the last Thor book, they're like, oh, and what became of the rest of the Phoenix? Well, read the Jean Grey book to find out.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
That was smart. That was nice of them. I'm glad that was a little tie-in. Good for them.
Yeah,
Well, because in the Jean Grey book, what was it? Jean like talks to
The
former
Phoenix?
hosts of the Phoenix Force to be like, how do I get better at it? And they're all like, here's how. And she's like, fuck you.
Yeah, the
Not
Phoenix is
what?
like, you can never run away from me, Jean, who's not from this universe, not the other, not the old Jean, but the new Jean. And
That's true. She's literally like, you can't run away from me, Jean. And actually, by the way, we've never met before.
yeah,
But, we have, but you don't know me. And I made a clone of you. And
yeah, it's weird.
I meant to ask you, Rob, what do you think of this idea that Aaron is kicking around in the Thor book, that what is inside the hammer, the living sentient storm, is the antithesis to the Phoenix?
I don't know. I mean, I think it'd be funny if, like, in that, like, the old Jean Grey is like just White Phoenix of the Crown Jean Grey. And it's just like, after 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth.
Love it.
Oh,
Sign
man.
me the fuck up.
No, I think it'd be funny. Like, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it'd be kind of weird. No doubt. Like, as far as I'm concerned, it's probably going to be one of those like retellings of the origin of the universe kind of stories that we get every once in a while. Where it's like, and this is how it all began, and it's just like once upon a time there was the Phoenix Force, and then whatever's in this hammer here, and they fought, and in the battle they had, life sprung forth.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm down with that.
I have no idea if that'll take place. It'd be kind of interesting, but I
Yeah.
imagine that's probably gonna. I don't think that Jean Grey series is gonna last long at all. I think it'll last 5 issues, if not longer than that. But no, I mean, I think that's probably what's gonna happen. That being said, I have no idea, but I'm excited. I'm really anxious to find out. So that'd be cool if it was like Gore trapped in there or something stupid like that.
Yeah.
So you got what do you got coming out? What is it? Old King Thor?
Oh no, it's the final story arc in the Odin Sun portion of Jason Aaron's run, and then I'm caught up
Nice.
with everything else for Jane Foster Thor. So next week we are going to experiment with the X-Men. Since I'm going through and I'm literally doing this whole chronology list next week, and for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to start. I'm going to do Joss Whedon's Astonishing X-Men, and then after that, I'm going to jump into
Favorite run.
Spider-Man. Oh, dude, it's an amazing.
You're going
run.
to experiment?
No. Yes, I'm going to experiment.
That gets
Wow.
a tiny golf clap.
That is.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're gonna jump to Spider-Man. You gotta give me. We'll wrap after the show.
Yeah, it's well, okay, because we'll talk about that because I'm trying to figure out what all I want to do. But
Yeah, because I'll give you the quick and dirty like rundown of the last 60 years of Spider-Man. You can pick and choose what you want to do.
yay, awesome.
Awesome.
But yeah, Joel, what's happening on Cape Joel, man?
Well, keeping up with the Wonder Woman spirit there, I did a required reading on 9 of the best Wonder Woman stories that you should read and check out. I was really proud of how that video turned out. I really love making those types of videos. Yeah, definitely look at that. And I covered more comics from the week. I covered the very important Deadpool number 31. It's a tie-in to Secret Empire. You should check out. I'm not going to say why, but you should check it out because it's important.
Oh, Tiffany, what are we doing on Comic Pop?
We just released our talking about Wonder Woman. So if you want to talk more about the movie, you can go check that out, and that'll be really cool. And then tomorrow, Sal's going to be doing the Elseworlds Exchange, where he's going to talk about something that will surprise everybody because I don't know what it is. And then what do we got for back issues on Thursday?
Back issues, we did a crossover classic. I was so jazzed about having done Batman Captain America by John Byrne that I decided to keep it going. And actually, you're on this episode. We did Batman versus the Incredible Hulk.
Nice.
That's right.
Oh, dude, I love that's like the second crossover, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Spider-Man, Superman, and then, well, it's the second one, worth a damn. Let's put it
Yeah.
that way.
Yeah, that's kind
And even then, it ain't, because, like, what's it called? The Shaper of
the
Worlds.
Shaper of Worlds
Is in that.
Oh, dude, it's so bad. It's like, oh,
So
Joker,
crappy!
Like, if
Yes.
I help you, like, if you help me, like, I will be able to reshape the world and give you all this power, and you can, defeat Batman or whatever it is he wanted to do.
Or whatever it is you want to do. Anyway, I'm going to go.
Yeah.
And then he leaves.
Yeah, dude, it was a struggle. It was weird.
Yeah.
Like,
Yep.
But
We had
Jose
fun.
Luis Garcia Lopez's art is phenomenal, and I'll talk about that more in the episode.
Yeah.
Also, apropos Rob's behest, I also am resurrecting the Powers series, and I've merged it with character rundown. So, if you want to know, like, if you take a look at the Powers playlist we got on the channel, we do power rundowns and we do character rundowns. So it's like, if you want to do like, if you want to know who Wonder Woman is and like kind of like some basic things about who she is and what books to get, we did a Who Is Wonder Woman. We've done it with Thor. Or rather, we've done it with Hulk, etc. But we also do like power rundowns. So I'm going to do a power rundown of Venom. What are Venom's powers? Give you a whole damn video, 2.5 minutes, that explains every power that Venom has, and just Venom specifically, and his Clintarian abilities.
I saw you tweeting about that. Clintar? How do you say Clintar? What's the proper way?
Well, no, I was like, what are they called? Because they used to be, the alien costume was always called a symbiote, as far as I was concerned. And then like a very short while ago, they revealed that they're called Clintars. And I'm like, that name sucks. That sounds like you just made that up. And
it does, doesn't it?
And they do.
But if I don't use it, people will yell at me because they'll think I don't know what I'm talking about. And so I got to use it.
So yeah, and then again, as Rob said already, you can come back on Thursday and hang out with us when we talk about the comics that came out this Wednesday. So we'll do a little comic reading, a little comic chatting, a little comic complaining. Who knows? All kinds of things will happen.
Yeah.
And I know that everyone in the chat has posted the link, but don't forget it. If you want, you can head over to Discord via one of the links in the chat over wherever it is, and hang out with the Weekly Pull Discord. I don't know where I am on the thing because I'm looking at the Skype window, so I'm just going to circle around until you find it. So you should come hang out. You can hang out with all the members of the Weekly Pull, chat comics, meet the community. It's a good time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Totes
my ghosts.
Totes my goats. Oh, man. All right, guys. Well, we're going to go ahead and bring this video to an end. Thanks for coming out, guys. We will catch y'all later. Peace.
Bye-bye.